When's the last time you had some fun, right? So what do you do for fun? What is it that is your passion? What energizes you? What fills you up? Because, you're the leader, you're the chief energy officer. We know that your business is always a reflection of your energy and your team's energy.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business, so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
And I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
And it's an absolute privilege and honor for us to be with you here today. Thank you for tuning in and joining us for this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. I am telling you right now as a listener that I wholeheartedly enjoy and have so much fun doing this podcast. It's, Dr. Stephen, it's just such a pleasure for me and just an honor, and also just an exciting moment every time we get to record a podcast and every time we get to talk about what we're going to be talking about. Before we recorded this podcast, we probably spent an hour just riffing on just ideas and things we're inspired by, things that we're doing and just challenged by, but also, the inspirational where we're going. And it just energizes me so much. So Dr. Stephen, I think that the episode that we're going to be talking about today is going to be just perfect for all of our remarkable CEOs who are tuning in and listening. And this actually applies to everybody really in life, but for sure to CEOs. Dr. Stephen, today we are going to fully embrace the consumption of your vitamins. If you're not taking your vitamins every day, there's an issue. And I remember I went to the Franson household, and the last time I saw one of those pill boxes, it was at my grandma's house because she had to take all of her meds. But at the Franson household, Monday through Sunday, it's vitamins every day. Today we're gonna wholeheartedly embrace every day, Monday through Sunday. There needs to be some vitamin F going on. Dr. Stephen, looking forward to our discussion today. It's going to be an important one, and I believe it's going to hit home.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing that I enjoy this podcast so much, Dr. Pete, because it took every cell of discipline in my body to get out of the ocean this morning to make it to the studio to be able to record today. We were blessed with some extraordinary waves this weekend, and actually we're blessed with a great swell all weekend. It looks like it's the first, I hate to jinx it and say it, but it looks like we're going to get 4 days of great surf. And September is my favorite month of the year. And the water's still warm. There's a hurricane swell, so we get a storm coming up the coast. And just that energy pouring up the coastline in the form of these perfect waves, this beautiful groundswell coming in. Sunrise session this morning with some of my favorite people in the world, just having a blast. My family's away, so the cat's playing, or the cat's away, the mice are playing, or whatever the expression is. That was me, man. I was in the ocean this morning for sunrise session. Camilla's in Sweden visiting her family, and Sam, of course, is in Virginia, and Emma is at her girlfriend's house for a birthday thing. So, as luck and fortune would have it, man, we've got waves all weekend, and I've got an empty house. So, man, I got some vitamin F this morning. I got some vitamin fun. And man, we were inspired to share that with you guys today, that how incredibly important it is as CEOs is that we're having fun, right? So we've got to have fun in our lives and in our practice. And this is just an opportunity to do a gut check with you. Let's do a slip and check. When's the last time you had some fun, right? So what do you do for fun? What is it that is your passion? What energizes you? What fills you up? Because you're the leader, you're the chief energy officer. We know that your business is always a reflection of your energy and your team's energy. When your energy's up, your business is up. When your energy's flat, your business is flat. When your energy's down, your business is down. Holy crap, as the CEO, the chief energy officer, you better be having some fun.
Yeah, I think this is such an important discussion. And, so much of this comes out of, our obviously personal experiences and journey. But also, we have the opportunity to be able to meet with so many CEOs every single day and week. And we have recognized that this is such an important element to be accountable for. And, you don't really have a lot of accountability around vitamin F probably in your life. And so, it's something that even Dr. Stephen, you and I, as we were discussing this morning, there's different ways to address your energy. Like we talked about, when your energy is up, practice is up. When your energy is flat, practice is flat. When your energy is down, practice is down. But it also applies to life. When your energy is up, your life is up. When your energy is flat, your life is flat. When your energy is down, life is down. That your energy is everything. It's the prerequisite to the outcome that you experience in your life. And so if we look at outcomes, we think about, okay, what drives that outcome? And we look at energy and we say, okay, so energy is about input to create the output. So it's about energy. So what are you doing? Who are you being? And how do you affect that? And knowing how you affect your energy. So I'm coming off of this week another strategy that I have deployed in my life and embraced, and it's made a huge impact in my life, which is fasting. And I've found, Dr. Stephen, that when I check myself and I realize, man, my energy is off, but I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm not exactly sure why it's off, but I'm feeling like I'm more edgy than I need to be. I'm a little bit short. I'm finding myself, I'm more critical. I'm actually a little bit angry. I'm finding myself getting more easily frustrated. I've lost some inspiration. I'm feeling like I don't have the direction and the vision is a little bit foggy. And when that happens, I recognize something has to change. And the question is, when you're in the midst of it all and you've got a bunch of children and you've got life and life just keeps going, like how do you continue to walk it out, but yet do press the reset button? And what I've found that works really, really well for me is fasting. And I've come off of a fast just this week. I did a water fast, a 3-day water fast. And I've just embraced this really over the last probably 3 to 5 years. I've recognized that has been a strategy for me personally that has been really, really effective for me to get my energy reset. And it gets my heart set, it gets my mind set, and it gets my body set. I reset, and I've just wholeheartedly embraced the need to regroup, reset, relaunch. And anytime you're feeling a little bit discombobulated, the first response, we got to regroup, we need to reset so we can relaunch. Life keeps going, and I needed to embrace it. So, Dr. Stephen, even coming off of that, while you're going into the ocean and you're experiencing the reset there, my experience of the reset came from subtraction, removing just some element in my life that actually caused me to go into this place of resetting, reconnecting. And I've seen just coming out of that, just my energy spiritually, mentally, physically, literally at a whole nother level. And so knowing what the things are that you need to do in your life that are going to help you get that energy right is so important.
This is so often an and conversation and not an or conversation. So I just want to make sure everybody checks themselves on this. Dr. James Chestnut put it best when he said that the natural state of the human body is to express health and wellness, right? So that is our wiring. It was like we're designed to express health, right? And if you're not expressing health or experiencing health, in other words, you're experiencing some level of sickness or dysfunction, some aberrance, right? So you have to ask yourself, all right, so what's causing that, right? So, and we all know the root cause is always interference, right? And interference is only caused by two things, toxicity or deficiency or both, right? So you have to ask yourself, it's like if you're off your game, if your mindset's not right, if you're not feeling inspired, or man, I'm just physically dragging, or I'm just like mentally, emotionally, man, I'm short with people, or I'm frustrated, or I'm impatient, right? So, and everything's bugging me, or I just feel tired, or I'm not inspired to be in the office today. Man, you got to get that straight. You got to get that right. Your business is always a reflection of your energy. You have to take that really seriously because there's no Facebook ads campaign or marketing strategy that's going to reconcile that, right? There's no browbeating of a team member or some secret script and a conversion process that's going to do it. It's just none of that, right? Those are all tactical, right? So you've got to get in touch with who you are as a leader, which means you got to get in touch with who you are as a person. So you got to look at yourself and you say, okay, so where is the interference to the natural expression of my remarkable leadership, right? So where does that, what's there that's not supposed to be there, right? Toxicity, right? Or what's not there that is an essential nutrient, deficiency, right? So toxicity and deficiency, those are the things that cause interference. So just check yourself, right? So Dr. Pete and I, we've given you two examples of just our day here, right? So it's like Dr. Pete recognized he needed to take away he had to deal with some toxicity. He had to break it down and give his body a fast, a rest, right? He had to strip away so that he could metabolize and get himself back to a state that was simple and pure and clear, right? So whereas I had a wicked deficiency in vitamin fun, we haven't had waves here in 9 weeks. I mean, for me, this is like oxygen to my spirit. All right, so I love being with my family. I love being with my wife, my kids, my extended family. I have so many great friends. I have so much fun working with awesome chiropractors. I mean, what a blessing being able to work with the best chiropractors in the world all day, every day. Give me a break. I pinch myself going to these live events. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But for me, surfing is what does it, right? It's what lights my spirit. It's what fills my cup. It's what takes me from an 8 to a 10. It's like right now I'm just vibrating at a different level, right? I got some vitamin fun in me. I got some vitamin C, SEA, right? So these are the things that I had a wicked deficiency, and just diving in the water today and that first plunge through, I just came up, looked up in the sun, took a big breath, and I'm like, oh gosh, that's what I needed. No wonder I've been such a jerk lately. I've been such a bear. I've been so impatient. I've been so uninspired. I've been short with people. It's like I had a deficiency in vitamin fun, and it was one dunk that reconciled that.
What's so powerful, Doc, as you're talking is, and I hope this is just hitting the nail on the head, I believe it is, for everyone listening. I'm just seeing people nodding and being like, man, I feel it. Because the reality was, you're also not only deficient in vitamin fun, but you also came out of a season of being incredibly productive, incredibly focusing, and really busy and working really, really hard. So the reality is it's not like you weren't having fun and you're also like not succeeding and not, making, breakthroughs and continuing to grow. It's like there was a deficiency in that. Same for me. It was, hey, we're growing, we're busy, we're productive. I mean, from a personal life side, from a professional life side, that's all happening. But I lost that sting, that something, that edge. And you talked about it, how even in practice, I would recognize that if I go into the office, I'm in a huddle and I'm like, I look around the room and I'm feeling for everybody's energy. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking at everybody's eyes. I'm looking at everybody's posture. I'm looking at everybody's energy, and I'm feeling the room. And I'm like, okay, where's everybody at? And I'm not necessarily going to address it right there. I'm just making notes so that I know where everybody's at, and I can address that. And I know I'm going to change the temperature here in the room, and I know where I need to go if I'm leading in that moment, or I'm going to take that on. But I first need to recognize that in myself. And so before we can address other people's energy, we have to be able to address our own energy. And if you don't get your energy right, it's really hard to help other people get their energy right. And as the chief energy officer, it's first and foremost your responsibility to do that. So Dr. Stephen, as a chief energy officer, it's vital for you to have that fun, right? So your COO in your life needs to make sure, is Dr. Stephen taking his vitamin F, right? So it's like, is that happening? Do you have someone in your life who's holding you accountable that can check in and say, when's the last time you took your vitamin F? Like, when was the last time that happened? And make sure that happens. And I'm thinking about another one of our CEOs who has embraced the need for knowing his energy tank, how it needs to get filled, where his COO makes sure that every quarter he's getting that time to get away. He's taking time every quarter to fill his tank because he's recognized that's what he needs. Do you know what those things are that you need to be doing whether it's a toxicity or it's a deficiency? Another thing that I embraced recently was I found myself being distracted. I found myself being distracted and looking at, I was just getting very much into sports. Honestly, I just found myself just really being distracted in sports related things. And I found that I love it, but it became a distraction. And I recognized that I was thinking more about it than I was about what I needed to be thinking about in that moment. Let's say I'm supposed to be doing math homework with Christian. I was supposed to be focusing on that. Or I'm supposed to be writing a copy for a talk that's coming up or whatever. And I find myself like something is off. There's just a little something that I know is off in me. And I'm like, where is that coming from? And what I needed to do is I needed to wholeheartedly embrace, I need to remove some level of interference from my life. And that's typically what it is for me, Dr. Stephen. It's usually, I'm always adding in. So I have to recognize, where do I need to subtract? And that by subtracting, I'm adding, because what I'm adding is I'm adding focus. I'm adding attentiveness. I'm adding awareness. I'm adding compassion, I'm adding patience, I'm adding inspiration by subtracting. And so to me, what happens for me most often, and Pete, is I get overwhelmed because more things get added. So I have to subtract, which is what I've recognized in my life has really helped me to get my vitamin, E up. My vitamin energy up comes back from, that. And then second would be, okay, what are the things that I need to be adding into my life that are going to help Pete have fun? And that's something that I'm constantly trying to work on. And it's a challenge for me. I'm going to be honest. I'll raise my hand and say, Dr. Stephen, like that's a challenge for me to do that because I enjoy the work. That's what we talk about. Hey, my problem is I love to work and I love the work. And that's a dynamic duo right there. But man, it can be a problem. So, really understanding that as a human being, you need to be making sure that you're building time into your life for fun. And I know that I'm convicted around this subject, which is why we're bringing it up on the podcast today.
So let's get practical about it. So I know you see the value of it. And, the reality is that some of you are like, yeah, that sounds great, guys. Right. So honestly, when I see chiropractors, when I meet chiropractors the first time or I see friends I haven't seen for a while, whatever, they're like, oh man, how do I get your job? I want to do what you do. It's like they see us traveling all over the place and having a great time and what have you. And I'm like, do you have any idea how much work is happening like during and in between those things that you're seeing? It's like, this is all by design. It is not, we're not lucky, we're blessed and highly favored, but we're not lucky, right? So you have got to do a couple of things to make this even a possibility, right? So number one is you've got to understand that you've got to create the space and time for it, right? So you've got to create a schedule. It always goes back to the calendar, right? So if you don't create the space and time to have fun, it's not going to happen, right? Because the universe is going to fill in the blanks for you, and everyone else who needs you to get stuff done, right? They're going to fill in your calendar for you, and it just won't happen because you quote unquote don't have time for it. So for your first knee-jerk reaction was, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't have the time to do that, right? So you've got to create the time. Look ahead. You know what? Maybe 2022 is a wash for you. Look ahead at 2023 and put it on the calendar. Start with like the important family dates. Start with your kids' vacations. Start with holiday vacations. Then put your other vacations in there. Make sure you have 4 to 6 weeks off during the year where you can energize. And that might be just a 4-day weekend, a long weekend, what have you. But make sure it lives on your calendar so you have claimed that territory in your calendar so nothing else can fill in there. And then honor that calendar, honor that commitment to re-energizing and recouping and recovering, right? So, and then for some of you, you might be like, oh yeah, but that sounds expensive. Like it's like I have to work because I got to make the money, or if I feel like FOMO, like fear of lost opportunity to make money if I'm not in the office working, what have you. I was like, tell you what, I'm looking at fourth quarter. I've got $3 million worth of value to deliver in fourth quarter. Guess what? Money follows value, right? So it's $3 million worth of value to hit our goals in fourth quarter. That's a lot of work, right? That's gonna require a lot of energy. And trust me, this 3-4 day window here of surf is going to be energizing me. I will still be working, and I've got an empty house, so I'm gonna work and surf this weekend. I'm psyched, right? So I know that the energy that I'm gonna need to get through and to the attraction immersion in Denver, for example, coming up, right? That takes a terrific amount of energy to prepare for, get the team ready, and to deliver that, right? This is where I'm going to fill my battery. I'm going to be ready to rock and roll. And if I didn't do this type of thing, I could come limping into Denver. And then how expensive is that, right? So you got to energize yourself so you're really ready to deliver value. And Dr. Pete, last point, and you just alluded to it, is make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that understand the value of what we're talking about, right? This is not just, this is not that nebulous sort of up there, kumbaya stuff we're talking about. This is hardcore physiological fact, right? So you've got to make sure that your spouse, the person that you share your time with, your family, your team members, specifically your COO, if they're the yin and yang, somebody who else you're accountable to, that the team recognizes that this is true for you and for them, so that everybody is aligned and recognize, man, somebody starts feeling snappy and grumpy, instead of them being like, hey, what's wrong with you? They ask questions like, hey, you need to go surfing. When's the last time you've had some fun?
Please stick around for more business insights from this week's bonus interview with our remarkable success partner, dedicated to helping you more successfully help more people. Enjoy. All right, Remarkable CEO podcast people, I am thrilled to be in the studio today with my friend Adriana from Chiro Matchmakers. And I was trying to calculate how many emails I've sent to you over the years, introducing you to different doctors who are searching for that next great team member. And you guys are amazing at helping chiropractors do that. And I'm thrilled to have you on our podcast as a guest today. And I'm glad I get to interview you today, Adriana, because I know you've done just such an amazing work with helping doctors build remarkable teams. And I know your commitment. So you are a success partner of the Remarkable Practice, and that is why you're here with me today. So again, I just want to tell you, thank you for being a part of helping our doctors help more people and taking the time today to meet with me. First thing I want to do is just have a little, meet and greet. So if you would tell our audience who you are and who you are as part of Chiro Matchmakers, maybe a little bit how you got to this point. I think it'd be awesome for people to get to know you a little bit.
Of course. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be a part of your podcast. At this point, I think we have exchanged hundreds and hundreds of emails. So it is amazing when we can help each other, help more people. My name is Adriana Loya. I am the director of placement for Chiro Matchmakers. I started as a front desk CA over 13 years ago. I completely fell in love with chiropractic and saw the benefits in myself and in my family. Then I became the office manager. And then at a point, I was running several chiropractic offices in New Mexico. And then, after a few years doing that, we opened up Chiro Matchmakers out of our own need to find the right person for the positions that we had available. And then mainly from our own pain points of losing associates, of, losing great relationships with people that we really loved and cared for, but they were just not the person for the position that we had. And so, through learning and a lot of pain, we opened up the company so that we could help more people.
I love it. And you guys are doing it. And I love that you're speaking from a place of scar tissue. You talked about the pain. And I love that your journey started, as you talked about, right at the front desk, and you ascended into the position of an office manager. Here you are managing multiple clinics and dealing with the pain points. So I love that you can relate so much with the docs who are listening to this right now. And again, I greatly appreciate the work that you do. In the Remarkable Practice, Remarkable CEO, we teach the concept of the 4 rights. You got to get the right person in the right role, doing the right work the right way. And CMM helps doctors do that. Can you share with us a little bit about, we talk about how every business exists to solve a problem for another person. And the other person for us is a chiropractor, right? Or a doctor who's an owner looking to build their team, or a doctor who's looking to join a team. Can you talk a little bit about the specific problems that you would say we solve at CMM, Chiro Matchmakers? How would you respond to that?
Yeah, so most businesses' problems are people problems, right? Yeah. If you don't have the right team in place, you cannot achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So our business is dedicated to helping chiropractors, either business owners that are looking to expand, grow their team, hire the right person so that they can put them in the right seat in the bus so that they can do amazing things for the company. And we also help doctors that are looking to join an established, thriving team. Maybe doctors that, they're passionate about being doctors, they want to take care of patients, but they don't really want to run a business. Or maybe they don't have the experience to run a business. So what we do is we match businesses with talent, whether it's an associate, it's a CA, an office manager, a marketing person, and we match them in a way that ensures that their relationship is going to be successful because the person is going to be naturally hardwired for the type of the job that they're going to take on that practice. And so it's amazing to see how we are actually helping those businesses solve their people problems.
It's interesting. I love the language that you use, matchmaking and connecting, the talent with the opportunity, getting the right opportunity and the right talent to come together. I think that's a really important concept. And I like to just talk about that a little bit, because I think a lot of times, as business owners, maybe we've had, maybe even like from your experience, we've had failure in that. Like we've tried to hire in the past, it just hasn't worked out. So we kind of get, disenfranchised with the whole process, and we just give up, or we just get frustrated with the whole thing. And it's like, well, what can you guys do that we don't do? Can you talk a little bit about how you do the matchmaking? Because I think that element is just one of the things that sets you guys apart, that just makes it truly a remarkable business.
Yeah, so what we do is we take a look at the practice style, practice culture, the techniques that the doctor needs to be able to do in the office when talking about matching associates. We also take a look at patient approach. We match candidates on a behavioral standpoint. So let me give you a very simple example. If a practice is looking for a doctor that is able to help them with new patient attraction, new patient conversion, maybe do marketing for them, well, that requires a very special type of person that can do really well in that type of job description. And a lot of times as business owners, we make the mistake of trying to make somebody fit into a job description that really goes against how they're naturally hardwired, and they don't do well. And we get frustrated, they get frustrated, then the relationship goes south pretty quickly. And we either end up firing them or they quit on us because they're frustrated within that position. So you need to make sure that you have a very clear job description. What are the main goals for the position? And then you need to find the person that actually matches on a behavioral standpoint so that they're not having to force themselves to do something that they're just really not comfortable with. And so our process goes in depth into what are the practice dynamics, what are the goals for this new hire. Are they going to be an associate, for a lifetime? Do they need somebody that can help them grow and expand the business, or do they need somebody that can help them maintain the adjustments and the patients that they already have in the practice? And so we look at all of those aspects, and then we go find those people that actually fit that innately hardwired type of personality.
So what you're basically saying, if I'm listening to this and I'm, let's say, a CEO and I'm an owner and I'm looking to maybe bring in some talent in the next 3 to 6 months, and you're telling me that you will actually help me understand the type of business and practice that I have so that I can clearly create and identify the role that I'm looking for, so that then you can help me find that right fit for that role. Because I think a lot of doctors maybe don't know how to even do that. Like, how do I just describe and determine what the role might be that I need? Are you saying that your organization helps us even do that part as well?
Definitely. That is a huge portion of our process. Is first, we want to understand you so that we can help you. And sometimes, like you said, business owners, they're so busy running their practices and they know that they need extra help, but they don't really know where they want to go with this. So a lot of what we do is sit down with that practice owner and really help them understand their goals in practice, even if they have an exit strategy and what they want this new person to be able to do in their practice. And then we help them find it.
Man, that's amazing. And then obviously from the talent side, thinking about the talent coming in, you talked about how 95% of our problems are people problems. And, we know that I think somewhere in the ballpark of 67% of, associate doctor relationships end badly. In other words, they fail. We want to avoid that. And I know that the track record that Chiro Matchmakers has is significantly higher than that, which is amazing. So you're saying that as a talent coming in, they also have the opportunity to assess and analyze themselves. You're able to assess the talent and say, okay, so I'm clear now on my job description and the role that I have and the functions of that role and what the outcomes are that we want that role to create. Now I can actually also have clarity on is this person the right fit for that? So it's not just about you getting clear as the owner on what it is that you need. It's also you getting clear on who it is that's coming in and seeing, do they actually fit? And that's a huge part of what you do, correct?
Yeah, 100%. And we also help the talent. We help associate doctors really understand their own practice style, their own goals, what type of practice they want to join. Because a lot of times what happens is, the associate, the talent is looking for a position and they join a practice that maybe is not the best fit for their goals in practice. And then the relationship doesn't work out. So we also do a lot of coaching and mentoring with the talent to help build them up and help them understand, okay, this is the type of practice that I want to join. And then if we have that practice, then we get them connected.
I mean, so if you're listening to this and you're the owner, I mean, this is just huge. But if you're also considering yourself as, let's say, the talent who's looking to find a right fit, it's amazing. So they, obviously you're going to want to be connected with an organization like CMM. So you're not just trying to, wing it and figure it out on your own. I mean, get connected with an organization that can actually help you find the right fit for yourself. That's huge. I mean, I know that years ago when I was hiring a bunch of associates, and even years and years before that, when I was an associate, none of this even existed. It was just, you just tried to, kind of hope in a prayer that's going to work out, and that was, how a lot of us, I think, walked through it, and it wasn't pretty for many people. So, we talk a lot in this program and the Remarkable CEO podcast here about the limited resources that we have as humans and as leaders, and how, a CEO will leverage their money to buy someone else's time, energy, and focus so they can continue to grow and scale their business and carve out maybe just a little bit more time. So a lot of the owners who are listening to this are very, very busy. Like you said, they're over leveraged. They don't, the time is not on their side. I mean, they're really just trying to just grab a little bit more here and there. And so this is an issue. And so we talk a lot about leverage. So what does it look like as a business owner for myself to leverage an organization such as yours? Like what does that look like for us to do that?
It gives you so much more time freedom. Imagine needing to hire a CA or an associate, and you're having to sort through hundreds of resumes, post your own ads, do your initial rounds of interviews. I mean, the doctor should spend their time doing what they do best, which is being a doctor and not being a recruiter, right? Doctors went to school to be chiropractors. A lot of them are amazing business owners, and they did not go to school to be recruiters. So it is definitely something that needs to be outsourced, something that can be done by somebody else, and you can utilize your time better in other areas that are actually producing you a lot of money. And so, what we do is we take the process completely out of the doctor's hands so that they can focus on what they need to focus. And then once we have people that match all the criteria that they are looking for, then we present them to them. And then it's pretty easy for them to go through the next round of interviews and then choose who they want to hire, instead of the business owner having to do all of the groundwork and the data sifting. I mean, it's a crazy amount of time that it takes to sort through so many candidates.
And I'll speak to the loneliness. Like, it feels very lonely and overwhelming and daunting to just even think about hiring. And a lot of people just say, I don't even want to worry about that. And they just settle for, well, I guess I'll just stay kind of at this stage of my practice. And,
right.
With Chiro Matchmakers, it seems like, hey, you've got a partner now. You're not alone. Like, we're on your team. You're hiring us. We're actually on your team as a recruiter. And we're not going to send you somebody unless, it fits the criteria that we've determined together. And then that enables me to know, like, hey, I can stay focusing on my current team and my current business and building that, while on the other side, your team is working on finding us the next right fit for the positions that we have available. That's just awesome. That's leverage, folks. You're speaking into our listening, Adriana. You are for sure doing that. And we love, again, that we get to be a part of helping our doctors help more people by using leverage and leveraging Chiro Matchmakers. So last question I have for you, bonus question. How do our listeners get in contact with you? What's the best way to do that?
So our website is www.chiromatchmakers.com. My name is Adriana at chiromatchmakers.com.
Awesome. All right, crew. So another incredible podcast episode and an incredible interview with Adriana from Chiro Matchmakers. You heard it said here. If you're looking to grow your team and build that remarkable team, which, again, to have a remarkable business, you got to have a remarkable team. Chiro Matchmakers is here to help you. Again, we're so grateful for you being a success partner with us and being a part of our podcast and making our podcast more awesome and amazing. For all of you listeners, thank you for joining us this week. And we look forward to picking up with our next episode next week. Until then, God bless.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic. And what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now go and be remarkable.